Okay, time being 8:30, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda. What did I say? Oh, geez, 6:30. Like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the traditional territory acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and Métis people. Administration advises that there are no additions to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Muir, Councillor Smith, all in favor? Motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is the closed session portion of the meeting. May I have a mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Time being 6:31. 6:31. Okay, rising from closed session, council approved the closed session minutes from November 18th. And we did not finish in closed session, so we will be going back at the end of the meeting. Okay, the open session minutes of the regular meeting, November 18th, are at items 5.1 of the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? Is that supposed to be November 18th? Yeah. Yeah, December 3rd. Yep, December 3rd. Yep, okay. Okay. May I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we have no resolutions from other municipalities tonight. Okay, next item, 6.3, information purposes only regarding a news release from, oh, where am I going here? Oh, yeah, 6.2, information purposes only relating to the Superior Country 2023-2024 annual report. Any members of the council have any remarks? No, seeing none. Okay, 6.3, information purposes only regarding a news release from the province on offsetting OPP cost increase for small and rural municipalities. Thank goodness they're doing this. Some municipalities were hit quite hard. I know for Red Rock, that was, what did, about 33,000, 35,000?
Yeah, we were up about 20%, and I think that was pretty constant around most
Mm.
of the areas, about 20%. I think it was about 30-some thousand that are increasing.
Okay. Okay, next item, report from the Community Development Officer. Welcome, Ashley. Okay, do any members of council have any questions on her report? Or would we like her just to give a couple highlights?
So we're wrapping up our community interpretation plan. You'll see it's been implemented in a couple places already around the community and in some of our documents. One of which is moving down to item number 8, our community banners. So we have received funding from Superior North CFDC for $5,000 to pay for new banners. At the cost of banners, that allows us to get 30 for the existing brackets we have, plus about an additional 10 as backup. So as they wear out, we'll have some that on hand that we can replace. So that's kind of the plan. So we'll have about 40 banners ready to go for production. And so as part of their partnership, they've helped us pick some of the designs to be used. The photos are ones that our local residents have taken, some of which have been submitted to the library photo contests in past years. Others that community members have I've reached out to, seeing on social media, others that we've had in our own digital assets through partnerships with Superior Country, or that the township has completed through previous marketing campaigns with past CDOs. And so there will be a photo credit line on each one, so all of our local photographers will be recognized. Of course, with our new logo and information that has come out of the community interpretation plan, that preliminary design is included in that report. So that's been our starting point. You'll see there's been some equipment up at the bridge, so they're doing some excavation work underneath. That's kind of wrapping up the last component of our Bent 12 project from last year. Once that work is done and there's a thick enough layer of ice in the creek, they'll be moving on to the next stage of repairs. They're anticipating a 1-week closure, but once again, that's weather depending. We need a couple good days of -20 for the ice to be thick enough for them to do the work. So at this point, we're kind of looking at the new year. And just a reminder that that bridge work is funded through the NORDS program and the OSIF allocations that we get on an annual basis. Recreation centers wrapping up. Once again, we're just waiting for our parking lot lighting. Most of the interior work has been completed. So our remaining outstanding items are the parking lot lighting and the doors. So we're getting new door hardware on our facilities. So our staff only has to deal with up to 4 keys instead of a key ring of over 20. So that's part of this project as well. So there was item number 7 was a question was brought up at the last meeting, which I was not here for. I was away at a conference. So the Canada Day funding, the smaller pool where that doesn't require nearly as much reporting, is $5,000 and under. So we regularly apply for $5,000. That's kind of our operating budget for Canada Day events, most of which is received through sponsorships and partnerships. So we apply for the full $5,000, but on an annual basis over the probably say the last 4 or 5 years since I've been here, we've received $1,920. So we kind of go big with what we'd like to spend. And then whatever we don't get, we get through from Celebrate Canada, we get through sponsorships and partnerships.
How do they come to the determination of only that amount when you put in, you want the sun and the moon? Like,
A lot of it's based on population, how many people actually attend your event, their overall budgets. So smaller communities get smaller amounts, larger communities with larger budgets tend to get larger amounts. So they've got a whole formula that's listed on their website as part of the application guidelines, but that tends to be what we've gotten over the last few years. Unless we really wanted to go big and the reporting process is a little onerous. If you're, as soon as you ask for about $5,100, then it's a whole other process. Welcome. Those are kind of the main pieces. Any other highlight questions?
Because this is the one thing I don't just care about this, I care about a lot of things. How's that waterfront development technical design report for the RV parks?
So with the final work that's been done on the recreation center and that stuff, that's kind of taken up the list. So we do have from previous requests an idea of what we're going to be doing for the campground, like the specific sites with picnic tables, fireboxes, things like that. I've been in preliminary talks with some funders, and we're still trying to navigate that process because some of them want, one funder in particular wants not just a strategy, you need the development costs as well. So that's a bit of a challenge. Is how do you come up with construction costs to give your overall project a budget unless you have the plan? So we're still kind of back and forth with that to figure out what the actual plan of attack is going to be with that particular partner. The other one is a lot more on board with, they recognize the importance, they want to support it, but there's not enough money in their program to support the whole thing. So that's kind of,
Were they like a 50-50, an 80-20?
so based on the overall project cost determines how many partners you need at the table and how much they contribute based on their existing funding programs. So one of them can, is like 90% up to $200,000. But if you go over than that, then it's 75%. And they, even though you have other funding partners at the table, the municipal portion is still a minimum of 20%, 25%. So the larger the project goes, the more we're on the hook for. So that's where I'm still working on some preliminary budget costs, just reaching out to contacts for, hey, if we did this, what's a preliminary budget cost that we could use as a rough estimate to put into a funding application? So because there are so many components to that waterfront development plan, there's a lot of moving parts. So that was kind of an initial idea to lump them all together because they are so integrated. But it may end up being changing focus and doing one thing at a time with an understanding that it's going to impact so many other activities. So
Just one last question. So at the one partner that's, you know, willing to do $200,000 and 90%.
Yeah.
Are you running then, are you gonna take it, you're running with that to see what you can get done for that amount of money and see how
So-
it looks?
that's the same funding partner we're looking at to get our roofing done. So it's kind of a
Ah.
priority basis. So you
Okay.
can really only have one project per funder at a time. So it's, once again, it's kind of priorities. Yes, it's on the radar, but we need to fix some leaks in our roofs before we can focus on doing a waterfront development plan. So right now, my focus in my department has essentially been to focus on the buildings that are leaking and need immediate repairs without losing sight of these other things. So I can kind of do a little bit of the recon work in the background while the main focus has been on making sure we don't have leaky buildings anymore.
I appreciate that and I totally understand. Yeah, I just like to see.
I'll just add to that. In that direction that Ashley's taking is, it's a direction that we have to take and it's one we discuss a lot of. And we'll bring these kind of discussions back to council in January. And remembering that, I think we've done a fantastic job of getting where we need to be. If you circle back to 2021, and you add up the projects that a municipality of 895 people took on in that period of time, and you come up with a number of probably close to $35–40 million, it goes and speaks volumes to the fact that a lot of the changes that we had to make just to survive. And when we're talking about survive, we're not underestimating, we're not, that's a true word in this case because of where we've had to be. So we're tying up some projects. Ashley's reported on the recreation project that's tying up. Remembering all of these projects, the recreation included the relining and the water and sewer upgrades, as well as the wastewater plant. These all have a municipal component. And we're talking about, you know, municipal components on these projects of close to $2 million, right? So we've strategically, through the direction of council as well as staff, we've got ourselves to a place that at least we can breathe a bit, but there's going to be some time to recover in this process too, right? So these are not, I don't want Ashley to get thrown into the questions of why she's not, you know, looking at these projects. It's because collectively the direction that we have right now, we need to rebuild, we need to refocus, and the direction that Ashley has is exactly that. Let's secure our facilities, for example, right? And that direction's coming through me too, Ashley, or together, because we have a plan. We're trying to plan progression of Red Rock as opposed to putting us into a financial situation again that isn't good. So that's a lot of it might take a little bit more time, but we're not forgetting about any of the wishes or the desires of council. We're just trying to plan for them.
No, and I had no time to, I totally understand infrastructure, all that stuff first, and I just like to make sure it kind of stays on the thing, because I would like us to move to one point in time from, you know, fixing all these leaks and these stopgaps to maybe going on to projects that will generate revenue for us rather than just cost us money. But I get it, it's gonna take time, and I do understand that, and I do really, really appreciate all the hard work that you do.
And I think the unnoticed value through to council is the fact that we're doing this, right? And I think that goes unnoticed to the public, but it's a credit to council because we are trying to bring back some of our facilities, et cetera, to the point that they need to be. And that includes our financial situation. We're trying to get ourselves to a place that we can survive comfortably. So there is a plan. Nothing's left off the table. And they will happen at some point, but strategically, we have to be very intelligent on how we approach those projects.
Have we ever thought of like a third party coming in and like they do it for profit and we get a percentage from them? Because you know what I mean? Like it's not municipal run because then we actually have to hire more people and all of that, right? And then the maintenance, the upkeep, like is, I mean, because we've had RV park for many, many years, right? So we've had a previous study and all that. I'm just wondering if that, do any municipalities look at that, or is that something we could look at maybe? I don't know.
So part of our RV park feasibility study that McSweeney completed a couple years ago, they did look at if a third party operator came in and looked after our running the RV park and kind of that funding model. There were some comments in there about it may not be the best one moving forward just because of the revenue generation. So in order to attract somebody to come in and operate it, we would essentially have to build it and then have someone come in. And because we are a mixed use facility with our marina right beside an RV campground, that is kind of a little bit of a challenge as well. So we would probably end up having to hire a consultant to come in and actually take a look at a full operations plan of what it would look like to have a third party operate our marina and an RV park campground while maintaining the use and access to our residents, because our waterfront is a pretty big asset for our residents and gets heavily used by our residents. So that's kind of, if we did want to explore that road, that's where a consultant would end up having to be coming in. And unfortunately, that type of model isn't funded.
And again, I think the direction on the last few discussions were to start small. And I think if we've had many talks internally as well with Public Works on how we can hopefully make that happen this upcoming season, and starting small and seeing where we go. So I think that's been our goal in the direction of council. That's kind of where we're going with the big picture of never forgetting what is on there, because Michael will remind us all the time, which is good. But that's hopefully what we can bring to council in the new year as a plan for a small scale start of at least something at the marina.
So it may just end up being taking some of these pieces and getting them addressed individually. Yeah, like our docks, the RV park, smaller grants for some of the outdoor recreation activities like disc golf and horseshoes and that kind of thing, and other funding streams to support improved lighting and that kind of thing. So it's really kind of a pick and choose what funding allows at the time and what we kind of see that next stages.
Any other questions or comments on Ashley's report? Thank you. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to receive the report? Councilor Muir, Councilor Smith, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thanks, Ashley. Merry Christmas if we don't see you Okay, next item is report from administration. Maybe if you just want to go to the discussions and updates.
Yeah, for sure. I think if we go right to that section at the end, I mean, a lot of what happens day to day is there. The Roma Annual Conference again is January 19th to the 21st. We are attending. We have put in our request for delegation. We normally see those roll in very close to the conference. We're not expecting to hear much until that first part of January, but we did put in delegations to speak to issues such as the bridge, tax sale properties, waterfront development, industrial development, a lot of those type of discussions. So we did put in those, and we'll update council as soon as we hear, probably at the next meeting in January, we will have an answer. Rock Tech Lithium was supposed to be here tonight. I received a phone call and an email last week requesting that they reschedule. They were able to reschedule, so we'll work on that for the new year. Snack Bar Recreation Center, so working closely with Melly Bees. She's working at coming at getting ready for a projected start of January 1st. So she's we're working quite closely. She's been in doing quite a bit of cleaning, setup, etc., getting herself ready. One request Mel had from me was one that I said it's one I'd have to bring to council because I guess you'd call it an upgrade. It's kind of an enhancement, I guess, if you wanted to call it that. But she's requested to put like a shellacking on the tables with newspaper articles. So I said that would be something I'd have to run through council based on the fact that, I mean, I don't know what that will do to our tables, whether, you know, for a long-term plan. So I told her I would bring that to council, but I didn't know where that would go based on, I mean, it's a short-term plan, I guess, for maybe a solution if it wasn't the tables is putting them into a picture type of thing and doing them on the walls where they can be removed, something like that, where we don't take away from the fact that she's trying to, you know, promote the history of Red Rock on a, you know, in some way, but maybe it's not on the tables, or maybe it is. I told her that would be a discussion I'd have to have with council based on something that changes, you know, those are our tables, they're your tables as council. So I wanted to bring that discussion.
So pardon me, sorry, she's looking at putting all local news articles?
Yeah, she's been trying to get local news articles for Red Rock, history plus recent, I guess. So that would be her goal with that. But again, it would be a permanent fix on the tables, right? So
Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of maybe hanging them on the wall instead of the tables. That's permanent. And again, if you need extra, I don't know, I prefer them on the walls if possible.
Councillor Smith.
I'm kind of on the same boat as everybody else, and plus, I've read some recent news articles, and I know if I want those plastered on our tables. So, but the walls are good.
Yeah, I think until she's well established, then we can revisit it, but she can figure out a different way of decorating or styling the restaurant for now.
everyone's good with that direction then? Okay. I guess the last one I have is Emergency Management Ontario. I mean, happy to announce again that the Township of Red Rock is compliant for 2024. I don't want to underemphasize the work that goes into this process. You know, staff does a great job. There's a lot of reporting to this piece. So again, the Township of Red Rock is compliant under emergency management for Ontario, which is something that's very important. if we were in an emergency and we weren't compliant, we would certainly be in a place that isn't that that welcoming. But under this, I think we've 3 years in a row now, I think, the township, coming out of many years of not being compliant. So I think that's a highlight and a great feat by, mostly by staff, that get that done. So, I act as the CEMC, but they do all the work when it comes to the reporting piece and that. So it's, again, it's good news for Red Rock. And that's all I had on that report, unless there's any questions of me, which I'll be happy to answer.
Any other questions or comments on this report? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the report? Councilor Brand, Councilor Smith. All in favor? Put your hand up. Oh, you didn't? Oh, sorry. I thought I did. Okay, next item 8.3 is a report on Councillor No's resignation from council. Do any members of council have any remarks? We now have a policy, so
Yeah, with regrets, Councillor Nault has resigned from council. So we do have a newly established councillor vacancy policy. So with the direction of council and the acceptance and declaration of that seat this evening and the resolution, then we will go to work to advertise that. And have a deadline, hopefully, to come back to council with a plan prior to our next meeting in January.
okay. Is there a mover and seconder for a motion to accept Councillor Denny Null's resignation from council with regret and that the seat be declared vacant? Somebody else has to put their name down. Councillor Brand. All in favor, even though we know how we feel. Yes. Motion's carried. We thank Denny for his time here, and we look forward to working with him because he does plan on volunteering in the community, so that's great. Next item is 8.4, report on tax write-off for roll number 5841-000-000-46125, also known as number 12, Red Rock Road number 4. Do any members of council have any remarks or questions? I believe this is the property that we had previously sold at a tax sale and the day after caught fire. And the costing has gone up because we've had to tear it down and all of that stuff. So I don't know if you want to provide any more information on that, but I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that is the gist of it. I mean, you see that number get to where it is because of a couple of things. First of all, yes, a property that had unpaid taxes for many years prior to 2021 with this administration starting that process, and then the demolition costs, right? So what we're hoping to do here, last meeting, council declared that they would vest in that property. So that means that property then becomes ours. It no longer generates taxes to be invoiced but not paid, right? So this process allows us to then write the taxes off, go back and through the process and claim back the school board taxes, as well as then be able to next meeting list this in step 3 as surplus property and sell that, and hopefully be able to get some of our money back based on this. I don't know if we'll ever see this balance, but again, this was a process that went on too long and then had some circumstances that were a little uncharacteristic around it, for sure.
Any questions on that? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the tax write-off for roll number 5841-000-000-46125, also known as number 12, Red Rock Road number 4, in the amount of $55,934 and 27 cents. Counselor Muir, Counselor Smith, I see your hand. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next item 9.1 is bylaw to set fees and service charges for 2025. So we were presented this last meeting. Everybody had some questions. We had more time to look it over. I don't believe anybody had requested any more updates from the CAO. So if there's any questions now on this? Seeing none, okay. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to pass the bylaw? Councilor Muir. Councilor Smith. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, unfinished business. Waterfront alcohol bylaw and the RV park. I mean, we've spoke to the RV park. I don't think there's any update yet on. Is it just with these two? Oh,
There's two on
Where-
the back too. On the back of the agenda, does yours go around to the second page? 11.3
yes,
and
okay.
11.4?
yep.
So there's the
Okay,
four items.
sorry.
and,
Yeah. Okay, all good.
We have the RV park in the, um, like, do we need to have it here? Yeah, do we need to have it in unfinished business? Like, can we remove it?
We sure can, yeah.
Okay. See, that was,
The joint Nipigon council meeting and then
Yep.
the bouldering wall.
Yeah, I believe the RV park just was there based on the fact that we were moving into a different scope of that. So certainly we know the direction there. We can have that 11.2, the RV park removed. That's the updates, I guess, Nipigon Joint Council, just again, that with the direction of council, we're looking at that to be something we plan for in early March. So that's just an update, basic update there. And bouldering wall, I guess just looking for the direction of council as to, I know it was a project led by Councillor Null. If there's still that willingness of council and we're looking at that project to move forward with that.
Councilor Muir?
I definitely like the idea of it still. I believe ex-councillor No there said he still wanted to, he still wanted to contribute to that and he still wanted to help with building it. So I definitely want to keep that on the agenda. If it's something that we're able to do, I think he should build it. Sure.
So
Councilor
maybe
Brandt?
I'll reach out to Councillor Null and schedule that site visit we were going to have, and then coming out of our discussion last meeting just on that, and I'll reach out and touch base to him again on that.
Councilor Brandt?
So that was gonna be my question. Has anybody else from council gone and taken a look at that?
Yep, I
That's-
did.
And you think it would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
sufficient
Yeah,
for
I
it?
think it's far as that. I think the ridges in the middle, there, it's gonna be perfect because the kids can climb on those too, so. It's true.
Yeah, I think it works, and like I said, the reason why it works in that place is the construction of the gymnasium at that point is cinder block, so you'll need that. So yeah, we can follow up on that for sure.
I think it's just another added asset to the recreation center. Okay. Councilor Brandt?
Just one more question about this. What type of maintenance would there be for this? Like, I understand it's like, say, a wood wall and these plastic things get screwed in? No, but like if one breaks, do our staff put on new ones? Like, do we carry that kind of stuff, or like, how does that work?
I wouldn't know, but I think if we move forward, we can find out that process for sure. Any other questions on the unfinished business? Okay. Since we did not finish in closed, we're at near the end of the meeting, so we're going to go back into closed session under the authorities as printed in the beginning of the agenda. Time being 7:35. Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to go into closed session? Samir. Councillor Smith. All in favor? Motion's carried. So rising from closed session, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to proceed as per directed by council in closed session? Council, did I see any hands? Councillor Muir? Anyone else? Councillor Brand, sorry. All in favor? I'll make sure, you know, I'm seeing things. Okay, council discuss matters related to municipal code of conduct in closed session. Okay, next item is the bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. May I have a mover and seconder to pass the bylaw? Councillor Smith. Councillor Muir, I believe. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next council meeting will be held on Monday, January 13th. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year's. We will see you in the New Year's. Please don't forget to drive. And always try and find a driver. Okay. Time being 8:14. No further business to tend to. Meeting is adjourned.